Correct.
And is it correct? That's the time where you swam 250 meters, not down, but you swam in a pool 250 meters on one breath. Is that correct? Was that the first time?
That was a few years later. I
Ah,
started when I was 17, and 2000, it was 2004 and 2005. It was my first world championship, and I was already on the second place, third place, so I started to get some prizes, like, but not yet the first place in the world championships. And then 2008, that I was already 21. That's when I set my first world record. It was distance, 250 dynamic with monofin. And only like 4 years later, 2012, I set my first depth world record, 125 meters with monofin.
wow. Hey, you know what we should do, especially for the Joint Dynamics listening audience? Can you break down and tell us what is freediving? Because it's my understanding there's a few disciplines. Essentially, if I did my bit and then I'll give it to you, Alexei, you take a breath and you
Mhm.
swim straight down as far as you can, and then you grab a ticket and you swim up. But would you break it down in your words, please, being the world champion that you are?
Freediving is everything you do underwater while holding your breath, and that's the difference between freediving and scuba diving with a scuba tank. And you can do many things. If you set records, then you can set records in time, just not moving, being on the surface. There is a Guinness discipline where it's not competitive, where you can do time, and it's very long, 25 minutes, almost 25 minutes of breath hold, but it's with pure oxygen. So it's not competitive. It's not allowed by the rules. But if you do a Guinness World Record, you can do it for promotion. And we see it around the world. Like people do this like stunts. So inhale pure oxygen, and then you can do like 25 minutes almost, or like people will do probably 30 minutes soon. Because in the air, you have 20% oxygen, right? Almost 21% oxygen, but you can inhale enriched mixture. You can inhale a mixture where it's almost 100% oxygen. So then you have just 5x amount of oxygen in your lungs, and then your breath hold just skyrocket. So there is
Wow.
that. There is
Just
a
on a
breath
side
hold.
note, have you ever done that?
I did it for fun. I tried this a few times, and I did 15 minutes with almost without any
What?
training, and then it was almost no urge to breathe. Like my urge to breathe started like when I around 14 minutes, 13 and a half, 14 minutes. And then I might do this stunt at some point, like 25-minute breath hold, 30-minute breath hold, but it's not something I'm going to do this year, or like I don't think I will do it in the nearest like
Mm,
time. I focus on depth. So I
yeah.
just wanted to like to talk about different disciplines so people
Sorry to
know
interrupt you.
there is
Go.
there is static. There's static. There's also interesting static discipline in Dubai. There is unusual static discipline. It's not on the surface. You hold your breath underwater, holding the rope, and that's like something along the lines of historical pearl divers, where pearl divers would go down using the rope and like will be there for some time. So in Dubai, there is a annual competition organized by Prince of Dubai, and that's one of the biggest competition with the biggest prize in the world currently. Before they were awarding Range Rovers for the first places, and there was like different categories and stuff. So and then there it's underwater. You hold the rope. As soon as you release the rope, you surface. You're done. So that's static. There is dynamic. You swim as far as possible in the pool with monofin, with classic flutter kicking like bifins, breaststroke, and that's three. And then depth, in depth, it's as deep as possible with monofin, with dolphin style, as deep as possible with bifins, no fins, breaststroke, and then pulling the rope. And then there's a few more disciplines, like in the if anyone saw the movie from Luc Besson, the Big Blue, the Grand Blue, there is this dive with a like sort of like a sled. So
Yeah.
you sit on something very heavy device. You open the brake and you just go down with no effort, and you can swim up yourself. Or there is another discipline which calls no limits, when you swim up like also with a balloon. So you do nothing, and then there the records are crazy. But now this discipline is forbidden because it's just too extreme and too dangerous.
Mm.
Previous attempt was by Herbert Nietzsche, and official world record was 200, I think 12 meters, 200,
Oh,
like somewhere there. And then he attempted to do 240 plus, 200, almost 50. And then there was an accident. So he needed to recover after this accident for a couple of years. And then there was a Red Bull documentary about his story, how he tried to do that. And this discipline was like suspended. It's not available anymore. So now, but main competitive disciplines would be swimming yourself. So you swim down with fins as deep as possible without fins and all these different disciplines. And the world record currently with monofin is 136 meters, the one I did last year. So that's all like record setting thing, but it's not the whole freediving. Like freediving can be a lot of things. It's records, like record attempts. It's very like, I think it's 1% of freediving. Then there's all this photography, exploration, swimming with animals, whales, sea lions, and like taking GoPro and like diving 5 meters, 10 meters, you're already a freediver. You are there holding your breath at 5 meters and you explore. So you explore the world, and you can also like enjoy this as a meditation session. You can do freediving as a part of like self-development process, learning how to be calmer, learning how to be more stress resistant, and like working with this urge to breathe. And then there is a lot of applied activities. Applied activity would be doing photography, videography, doing spearfishing while holding your breath, being underwater model, underwater like a stunt double, or being an actor in the movies like we saw in all these Mission Impossibles and Tom Cruise doing 6 minutes like breath holds to do the stunt in the movie. Then Avatar shooting, like all these actors were training freediving to be able to do the stunts in the movie.
Were you involved in any of those movies or in the training of any of those people that did that?
I didn't train those people. I know like people from our community, trainers from our community did that. So I know the guys who were training these guys. It's like very intense operation. I wouldn't be able to because it's for Avatar. It's like several years of work being in a tank every day, and it's just super intense operations. Like you have to be doing only that.
Just for a moment, touching on your competitive career, in what events do you compete in? I know, okay, I saw you 136 with the monofin. What other events do you compete in?
Monofin is my main. Like I love it the most because of the style, because of the movement. Bifins, classic fins, double like two fins, and no fins. Breaststroke is not my favorite, but I love the challenge. Physically, it's very hard. Like it requires a lot of focus on efficiency of technique. So it's a lot of fine tuning, efficiency, streamlining, and it's not hard in terms of depth. My deep dive last year world record was 100 meters without fins, and it just requires a lot of efficiency.
I bet. So 100 meters without fins, 136 with the monofin, and then what about with the bifins? How far can you go?
124.
124. Wow.